Hi, and welcome to the GameGo podcast, the podcast where we talk about video games and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm H8BitHero, and here's my host, Sonorith.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Hope you got a good week in gaming.
Pretty good week.
All right. Yeah, me too. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. You might be thinking Stormblood, the new expansion that came out for it, but actually I'm just playing the base game. I don't have a max level character. I just got back into it. And I think it costs like $25 to max a character out if you don't already have one. Which, on top of buying Stormblood, like, I don't want to...
I don't touch any MMOs. You can just buy a maxed out character now?
On some of them, yeah. Like, you need a level 60 character, I think, in this one.
Okay.
Or you can't enjoy the new content. So if you don't already have one, it's a mess. And I like MMOs, at least the idea of them. So hopefully this will turn out to be more fun. I have a few friends playing with me, so we'll see how that goes. In other news, Prey was beaten again, the speed record.
Yeah, we made a big deal, our
third episode or something.
Yeah. Prey it came out, it got beat like
40
time
minutes.
and time again. It got like
20
four
minutes.
different records got set that day.
10 minutes. Yeah.
And then set and then
subsequently beaten.
Exactly. Another, just, what was it? 5/10?
6 minutes, 59 seconds, and half a second. So
away
it
from
beat
7 minutes. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Lots of people still think it's considered like he's cheating.
No
outside tools are being used. People are using the word exploit, and it seems that those are the ones.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, they seem to understand. Like, no, these are well within the bounds of the rules. Like everything on the disc. That's all he's using.
Yeah. It's kind of shady and it's not the best way to enjoy the game. Obviously, this is for speedrunning, but it is perfectly within his rights or whatever.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say it's a best because that implies better or worse. It's just
that's true.
It's a different way of enjoying the game.
Yeah. People have a whole culture around speedrunning, so this is just another way to enjoy that.
Yeah.
The largest news I think that everyone's been buzzing about is the announcement of the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah, the re-release, the mini Super Nintendo Classic.
The sequel to the Nintendo Classic.
Right, following in its footsteps, they're gonna be releasing a miniature version of the Super Nintendo again.
With two controls.
With two controls
so
this
you can
time.
Just play multiplayer right out of the box.
Longer cords, which was a big concern last time. Yeah, a lot of people were saying, like, why would I even set that up next to my TV? It's closer to me when I play. And I thought that was a huge misstep there. It's a tiny thing. No matter what, if you're not going to make the controls wireless, don't. Yeah, I'm also not going to play within feet of my within
a larger television now, especially
just 2 feet of my larger TV. Yeah,
I think they said something about the HDMI cable was supposed to be the what made up the slack there.
Ah,
yeah. Although
that's not how you want to do it, even fashionably. Like I want the only cords I want to come out from my entertainment center are the control cords.
Like it used to be.
It's functional.
Back in the day. Oh man, I'm talking about back in the day for consoles.
Right.
There's 21 games. 20 of them are classic vintage titles that you may have all enjoyed in your youth. One has never been released until this announcement. Star Fox 2 is coming to the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah, pretty crazy way of delivering a game. I don't know that this has ever been anything even similar to this has ever been done.
I want to say that I remember hearing about a game that came out for like the Dreamcast or something within the last 5 years, but I mean, yeah, this is even further back.
And and in the way that this is released, this is like official from Nintendo themselves on like some new little. It seems like it's a tag to draw you into the product.
It's working because I definitely want to. I mean, there's already a lot of great games, but this is only drawing me in more. And people are saying that you can just get an emulator online, but apparently what I've read is the game that's floating around online, whatever version of that they have, it's not the finished product, which they actually are going to have. Right. And I even mentioned on our Facebook page, somebody expressed that sentiment that the game is not worth it from what they played, and I don't think they would go through the trouble of releasing this game if they didn't have to, and then also they could include another great game from their Super Nintendo library. But what games are you excited about?
Right here, I mean, they got my freaking favorite, man. They got Earthbound. Like,
yeah, I noticed.
You don't forget the rest of the list. That's cool. What's this second controller for? Here, I'm going to go lock myself back up in my freaking room.
And I'm going to erase your file again.
Again.
Just like old times. Yeah, personally, I'm excited about Final Fantasy 3, or 6, I guess. It's the American 3, so it would be Final Fantasy 6.
6, 3, same
I
thing.
do kind of like that they're keeping the number.
Did 4 and 5 even do anything good, like worth mentioning? Like,
I think the stories were good. I mean, I don't remember too much about them though.
Nobody gets mad about skipping over them. They just get mad about is it American or Japanese?
Yeah, I think 2 here was 4. I don't know. Anyway, you're also going to be getting Contra 3: The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course. I don't know why they're including 2. I don't know. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which I know is a huge deal for a lot of people. Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, which I don't get because they just released the final challengers on the Switch.
Yeah.
Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG. That's a big deal too.
Yeah.
I know people wanted that character in Smash Brothers a lot. Gino?
Yeah, but he's apparently owned. I didn't know that he's owned by Square.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, Gino's owned by Square.
Well, so is Cloud, and he was in the last one.
Hey.
Yeah, right? Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, Yoshi's Island, Star Fox 1 and 2.
I'm noticing a theme here with the titles.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't Super Star Fox or something. I did read, though, that to play the second one, you have to beat the first level of Star Fox 1.
Which sounds like a pretty crazy, that's weird.
I think it's to give you the basics.
And I understand that part. It's just like, this game is already like an exclusive thing.
Yeah. Okay,
they're already treating it strange enough.
Yeah.
Like, why? Okay, now to play it, I have to play one of the other ones for a little bit, not even beat the whole game, and then get to, I don't know.
Maybe the tutorial in the second one wasn't nearly as lengthy or in-depth, so they're hoping the first one is a crash course.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, unfortunately, the pre-orders are already being resold on eBay. The thing, as soon as like people heard about it, they were just pre-ordering the hell out of it online.
Yeah, when you're a company as big as Nintendo and you got an item that you already are calling limited and everybody knows is going to be on short or gonna go through a shortage, it's bait for these scalpers.
Yeah, although Nintendo did say that they're taking the proper precautions to make sure that there aren't shortages. Like I hope it's not like the NES where you have to stand in line for a good long time. I already did that for the Switch. I don't need to do that twice in 1 year.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is that you already did it for the Switch, and this thing is not as important or as big as the Switch. The thing
too. These are guaranteed 21 great games based on your tastes changing a little bit. But Switch, this was more of an unknown, more expensive, you know.
I'm talking as regardless of that, the demand for the Switch, no matter how you cut it, is still higher than is going to be for this.
Still selling really well.
Yeah, they're splitting their resources between them both. There's going to be shortage of this within a week. I mean, they're already sold out of pre-sales, of pre-orders.
Yeah, although they did cut the NES specifically so they could focus more on this too. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that is gonna, help out when it comes to selling the damn thing or supplying it.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go. That got a pretty big update, and we didn't talk about it because of the whole E3 mess, the event, the excitement.
As in the event itself.
So all the gyms that they got closed for construction, and then they got reopened, and now they're Pokestops in addition to being the gyms. That's supposed to help rural areas that don't have as many landmarks for Pokestops or gyms.
Yeah, you got nothing in between these gyms. Now you at least got the gyms to also re-up on stuff.
Yes, and you can also participate in raids at these gyms. They basically provide a tougher Pokemon that's roughly 10 times stronger than a normal Pokemon, and you can use groups of people to beat it, and then you have a chance to capture a normal strength version of it.
I really like that idea of having just a bunch of people around you, actually locally,
Yeah, and it's like the trailer for Pokemon Go when it first came out. You had people beating up Mewtwo in New York City.
See, that's what, everybody wanted that. I was waiting for just like groups of people to be aiming their phone at a certain thing, like, what the hell are they doing? Oh, okay, they're all fighting
that's what
one.
Pokemon Go was for a while. Like, somebody would scream about a Scyther at the corner of the park, and you'd see droves of people.
They weren't working together to get it. They were
this is definitely more, they're delivering on the promise that people got from the trailer. Anyway, and in order to compete in these raids, you have to have a ticket, which you get from basically you just spin the Pokestop at the gym. You'll get a raid ticket. So then you can participate in one. You can only hold one at a time, though. But I believe you can buy raid tickets for 100 Pokecoins. And then those, you should be able to have as many as you want. At first, they were meant to be for higher level players. And I mean that this just came out like a week ago, and they're already lowering the level requirement. It used to be 35, now it's 20 as of this recording. And if you participate in enough raids, you can get a legendary ticket, which will let you compete in a legendary raid, which will have like one of the birds or Mew or Mewtwo or Celebi from the newer generation. This is pretty exciting. They did say that the summer was going to be legendary. If you listen to one of our earlier episodes.
That's right.
Yeah. So it looks like they're already kind of being very strong out of the gate for the summer when people are more active and have more free time. At least the younger people
Smart.
do. Yeah, it's a really good idea. I'm already seeing, like, I caught my Ditto at my work, at the comic store I work at, because these girls came in saying, like, oh, we just caught this Ditto. It's a Pidgey. And this was after 10 minutes of them being there. So I grabbed my phone and checked, and the Pidgey's still there. I got my first Ditto. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm seeing more of a renewed interest in it, too, because I was at a trivia night, and people were still, like, checking their phone, activating the gym for the coins or the items they get.
Nice. That's good to see.
Yeah.
It was really cool that first couple, like, the surge that it had.
A very, like, happy, carefree time where communities were really... You heard a lot of good stories. I know there was one special needs child who got teased, and when that story went viral, and a bunch of people threw him a Pokemon Go party.
I did not know about that, but just things like that are amazing. Just the way it started bringing people, the way... Hearing, like... That I forgot the Museum of Tolerance, I think, was a Pokestop. So they had to put up a sign asking, like, you know, please no phone games or children, unattended children.
Oh no, it wasn't at the Holocaust Memorial Museum.
There we go. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
I knew it had something to do with some form of intolerance.
Yeah. Niantic did let them petition to take their Pokestop or gym down.
Right.
Which unfortunately some people did it, and there was an area near my house that has 3 Pokestops right next to each other.
Okay.
It was a psychiatrist office village kind of thing.
Weird. So
after hours, people would hang out there at night. And I don't know if maybe some people kind of ruined it for everybody else.
I can't imagine a more appropriate place for those people, though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I want to see people out there again playing. I remember I walked around my park when it came out, and I just found like 5 people like wandering around. And you all kind of know what you're doing. You're like looking at your phone, and you're like, yeah, we're looking for Pokemon too. It was a good time. I want to see that again.
It's just weird to imagine, like, okay, let's just for a second pretend like this was real. That's how it would happen.
Yeah.
That's if you were going around hunting for actual Pokemon, you would run into other Pokemon hunters.
Although the problem there being that, like, I have my phone, you have your phone, we could both catch that Pikachu. If this was real life, I would shove you to the floor and throw my Pokeball at the Pikachu trying to get it.
I'm not trying to instigate violence, but I do like the idea that, no, there is only one. Even better, I mean, I'm sure it can't, but I mean, even better would be like, okay, he's in the middle of trying to catch it. Can I interrupt that and steal it, essentially?
Anyway, so yeah, they got a pretty big update. I want to see people out there. What do you guys think? I mean, did you play it when it first came out? Is this going to bring you back in? Please let us know, because this is definitely one of those, you know, community-based games, and this game will... I'm sorry, I didn't even say anything. For the raids, you can team up with like 20 people to do it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I would love to know if you guys are going to be trying this out, if this is going to bring you back in, or if you need more. But yeah.
Rap Rabbit.
Yeah.
It unfortunately, I was looking forward to this one.
Me too.
And I can understand, I guess, based on how sparse the
the demonstration was.
Yeah, there's very limited on the information that we have that we can use right now. Rap Rabbit, which was supposed to be a spiritual successor to Parappa the Rapper, it was going to be
Guitar Man.
And Guitar Man. It was from the makers thereof.
Yeah.
It didn't reach its goal. It only got up to 200K out of the 1 million they were asking for. Super unfortunate.
Yeah.
I guess that's just how that goes. Doesn't seem there's that big an interest for rhythm rap games right now.
It seemed like a really cool idea. I'd love to see them maybe develop this a little more and come back, you know, with a better, clearer presentation of what they're going to do.
I feel that if they can do exactly that, just come up with something a little more tangible.
Yeah.
Maybe one song, half a song.
We saw a concept of one, and it was cool, but I would love to see more.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
what I
the
saw was
branching
okay, but
stuff.
that's all.
Yeah. Modern Warfare Remastered, that came with the Infinite Warfare if you pre-ordered like the deluxe edition, I think, for $80. But now you can buy the remaster on its own for $40. Some people are kind of steamed about this, that originally they had said they weren't going to sell it. This was the only way you can get it is if you bought the $80 version of Infinite Warfare. But I know some people that would definitely be interested in this now that you don't have to buy another game, which some people weren't a fan of. I tried it. It was okay, but Modern Warfare Remastered, that's definitely like, it has a warm spot in some people's hearts.
Yeah.
Fun memories.
This is, I can imagine that why those people would be upset. If you didn't want to spend, that's double the price.
Yeah.
Let's say this was the only part of that package you wanted. You went back and paid double for a portion of what that was going to give you.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I feel people have every right to be upset. This is straight up. If they said that this was the only way you could get it, it really should have been the only way you could get it.
Yeah. I think the problem was that they saw the sales on Infinite Warfare waning, and they're like, some people are still going to want this. We can't leave them out in the dark. Although I guess they should have just been upfront and said, you can get this later. But then again, yeah, it wouldn't have sold the Infinite Warfare copies, maybe.
This kind of feels like the same thing they did back before they started using the term timed exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Or when they were being a little bit too liberal
Aloof.
with that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, no, we didn't know. Or no, screw you guys. We know that you guys get these things worked out months in advance.
Yeah.
Don't try and fool us. Same thing kind of here. I'm pretty sure these guys had already had it in the works as a plan or as maybe a, what is it? A plan B.
Yeah, but
like you're saying that they saw the sales waning. So I don't know if it was possible or if it was even a little bit, even as a backup plan intended to do this. There was no reason to ever say like.
It's just a buyer beware thing. Like they're trying to get your money, and for some people it worked. Like they shelled out the money for this, and I mean the only consolation I can think of is that you could maybe sell Infinite Warfare back for. Probably more than 40, a little bit, at GameStop or something.
I don't know about at GameStop, but...
I know they get a bad rap, but, I mean, I don't know if I've ever been like...
Has it been more than 2 weeks?
I don't know. I really don't keep track of when they drop the prices on that stuff. I just know that I've never been, like, upset with how much money I get from a game. Like, I know how these trends go, and I understand if a game that... Like, No Man's Sky, that game got sold back by a lot of people, and the price, reflected that. But I think I sold the Fire Emblem Awakening once, and I got, like, way more than I expected for it.
For Nintendo games?
That's true.
Nintendo games have a... They kind of...
They maintain
escape
their
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because they don't drop their prices ever.
Right.
Anyway, so Modern Warfare, $40 now. Get it. Don't, let us know what you think if it's okay what they did. But that actually leads us into our next thing is the Days of Summer event. They're owned by Activision, which also owns Blizzard, which made Overwatch, and they're very popular with events. I feel like Call of Duty is taking a page right out of their book because they're having a seasonal event I think this is the first time.
And it's a damn good thing to see a company as money hungry as these guys, and a franchise that kind of demands for as much out of you for their DLC and all that.
Yeah,
it's really nice to see them take an approach that someone like Overwatch is taking.
Yeah. I mean, you could always buy the boxes like Overwatch does, but I mean, now they're giving you free stuff. Yeah. Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Remastered, and Black Ops 3 are all participating in this. Black Ops 3 is less involved than the other two, but there's still some free stuff you can get, like camos and emblems, and they're limited time, kind of like Overwatch does. But you can also get free supply drops in Infinite Warfare if you check in every Monday, and you can get other stuff for checking in Wednesday and Friday. And that's going on until, I believe, the end of August. I think it's the next 10 weeks. So if you play those games still, yeah, check it out. Like, if you want to spend your summer inside where it's not burning hot, go for it. I'm not going to blame you. Assassin's Creed Rebellion. That is an iOS Android game that was announced, I believe, this morning as of recording this.
Yeah, this one, I think the story is one of these assassins accidentally got into the vat of Lego plastic.
The character models look weird and like toy. It's weird.
They kind of resemble Funko Pop or other like
Roblox or Mega. Yeah, something weird.
Like something in between those collectibles and the Legos.
Yeah, it's gonna be a free to play strategy game, RPG strategy. I think it's gonna be one of those ones where you have to wait every 2 hours and then do something and then wait another 2 hours. You can get several assassins like Ezio and the one from
the various heroes.
Embers. Yeah, well, from that era, it's gonna be 15th century.
Okay, so only the era.
I believe so.
Okay.
There's gonna be an explanation for it in story with the Animus mixing people's memories. It'll make sense hopefully in the game. And I don't know if I'm looking forward to this, but I'll try it out and let you guys know what I think.
So Overwatch fans are getting a little bit more antsy for Doomfist, and
man, I've been waiting forever for Terry Crews.
There we go, for Terry Crews' performance in it. Especially, I mean, we've already been excited since the day that he tweeted like, "Hey, yeah, no, I'll do the voice," and then we start seeing tweets and pictures of him in the studio.
Well, yeah, because like at first it was just him like reaching out, and it seems like Blizzard's like, "Okay,
oh yeah, we'll take you up on that." So. The excitement has been revamped for this character, especially because of the crash logs right now in the Overwatch PTR. They reference Doomfist and the Summer Games.
Yeah.
A couple of the file names actually like have the words in there. And yes, it's coming soon. Like I thought Orisa was actually going to be Doomfist. I thought when they were talking about announcing a new character, that followed very shortly after the Terry Crews.
Yeah,
thing.
but okay. I see
Maybe too soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know how quick or how long it would take for them to like
in
really
the pipeline
get this going.
Yeah.
So that's what I had thought was happening then. Looks like that's gonna happen soon though.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to play the crap out of him. I feel like maybe Blizzard is intentionally doing these things to kind of generate hype for it. It just seems kind of like, I'm not a huge fan of people going through like data mining stuff and finding things and spoiling it.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, here's the information, and it just, I don't know, maybe somebody from Blizzard is like secretly giving the information out and seeding it to create the buzz, Right.
Kind of like the AGR, but
yeah, something like that.
Even done like because that AGR
dragged on so long.
I
ARG.
am ARG. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that ARG like lasted a little too long.
Yeah,
and it was done from the frame of an in-game character, which was cool.
Yeah,
are you saying that this one is like an actual?
No, I think maybe like, oh, look what I found in the crash test. That's the Blizzard employee. Like showing it to people to get the people talking about it, like we're doing right now.
Was it a Blizzard employee that?
No, but I'm saying like secretly, like a conspiracy thing,
Okay.
But yeah, that Sombra one lasted too long. I think people were mad too, was because it was all timed releases for the information instead of people digging through it and
being able to find it freely. Yeah, it was cool that they were using the data mining thing. It's kind of removed the authenticity when it's like, well, it's timed data mining.
Yeah, I think another Activision game, Destiny. People were excited to find an exotic weapon, but it turned out that they just had to wait for the quest to activate. Like they just had to flip a switch, and that kind of ticked some people off. But yeah, I mean, I want to see Doomfist. I want to get another chance at those summer games, emblems and skins and stuff.
Changes in Overwatch are generally exciting to me.
Yeah, it gives us a reason to keep playing.
What was it? The 2 weeks ago that the
Origin?
No, the 2 weeks ago the update they did last
anniversary.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was cool. The skins were great.
So you want to talk about E3?
Yeah, I know we dedicated a whole episode to it last week. We even mentioned the security problems that allowed us to attend. But
is it a problem if it helps us?
Well, no. Some people actually had stuff stolen, and that's not cool.
Those are problems.
Yes.
We had security benefits.
The ESA said there were no problems, though. They said that their security was tighter than ever, which is kind of worrisome. But there were definitely a lot of holes in their security. We even saw people coming in through the exit doors that people would leave open when they would leave. It was just a mess. And I've been reading a lot about, kind of because the public was now for the first time allowed in, that there was kind of an us versus them mentality, like media and developers versus the public.
Media, devs, and public, right?
Well, more the media and devs on one side, the public on the other, because this is the first time they're coming into it. I didn't get that at all.
Me neither. Being somebody who I've been to a couple of these of E3s. This will be like the fourth I've ever attended. I've never felt any animosity
from a developer or
from
media.
anybody ever.
It definitely was kind of chaotic. It felt like we were at a theme park.
Definitely.
But I never
crammed. Yeah. Sometimes a little packed.
If anything, like the demonstrators all seemed really happy and excited to be sharing this with people.
Yeah.
Like people that are passionate, that go there because they want to play these games, not just because they have to report on them or they have to sell this to, somebody.
I don't know if maybe just some people feel like, hey, we paid a lot for this. How come we don't get to see some of these exclusive things? Right now, literally, that just popped into my head.
Yeah, the tickets were pretty expensive. And like I said, my friends and I waited 3 hours to play Destiny.
Yeah.
But I think that's to be expected with a venue of this size and with as many people as there were. The organization was also up to the individual booth handlers, basically.
Right.
Nintendo had like 1 billion Switches to play Mario on.
Yeah.
So the wait was kind of lengthy because they gave you 10 minutes to play with a game, but it still didn't feel like it was excessive for the amount of time that you got to play.
Right, considering, how many other people are excited to play the same game.
Yeah, that mob was huge.
It never got light in that booth.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I don't know. Some people were calling the E3 security problems a conspiracy to basically to get the public out of E3 again. I don't think that's. I mean, obviously, we're aware of the security issues. I don't think that this is fabricated. This is not a fabricated story that there were security concerns. Some people got hurt apparently, and security didn't do anything to help them. And I would love to see a better security situation. Unfortunately, I mean, if that were the case this time, we wouldn't have gotten in. But
I really don't think I saw once anybody getting like the light on their badge.
I saw it like twice on the second day.
Okay.
Okay. But I mean, yeah, they were just waving people in droves. And I had my camera up, and that was enough to like.
He's working.
Yeah.
And when we say camera, we mean phone.
Camera phone. This wasn't like a nice, like, film
Nikon
camera
or anything.
Yeah, this was just a little Apple phone. But I don't know. Like, I want security to be better. And I also understand why it's messy. But I think for now it's going to be that way. They can't expand for like another 4 years due to a contract. The ESA.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Hopefully after that passes, they'll be able to. I mean, I'd love for them to stay in LA because we're already here. But if they need to go somewhere that they can handle this better, like Gamescom in Germany, they apparently have separate days for press and public, and that seems to work.
That's what I want to see done. No, I don't think a change in venue needs to happen. Just a change in the way they handle the situation.
Yeah, it's only 3 days, and that doesn't seem. It's not a lot, especially for how much there is to see,
right? And
how many people there are. If they were to separate it into public and press, I think everyone would be a little happier. And that's really all I have to say on it. I was just kind of bringing this up because I did see some concerns about it online. But do you guys have any opinions on this? Like, do you care if the security was as lax as they say? If you attended, did you feel like maybe there was some animosity from developers or media?
Yeah, like if you were attending this, if you had attended, would it upset you how lax security was? Or is that even a non-issue and you're just more of like, hey, can people get in and that's it?
I understand, like, if you paid for the ticket, you'd be upset that you didn't really have to pay for it. You could have come for free, essentially. But yeah, I would love to hear you guys' opinions. But that's really all I have to say for that little bit of news.
Played ARMS recently. This is Nintendo's newest
IP.
Newest IP, new game. It's you're probably skeptical. Skeptical, not spectacle.
I was skeptical.
When you first saw it, and you had every right to be. It does look like it's going to be a very, very cutesy take on boxing.
Wii Sports Boxing.
It looked very much like that. Then I started playing it. Oh my god. The game is amazing. That game is great. So, yeah. ARMS gameplay at its core, it's basically a twist on boxing. Everybody's got, they've got springy arms or ribbon arms or some kind of chain arm. Their arms, it's called ARMS because the big thing about it is their arms stretch out. They can launch their arms outward. What this means is for this sport of arms is that they can come in from the left, the right, or in front of you. These guys also, they can jump. Ribbon Girl even has a multi-jump.
Dashing.
There's you can dash. That's in boxing still. Dodging, left, right.
It's more drastic, I think.
Yeah.
It's like long-range boxing, basically.
It is pretty... if you could launch your punches literally, like, out 20 feet, that's what this basically is. It's really great. It seemed like it was going to be really simplistic at first. They go and they talk about the different arms in a couple of trailers, even a couple of the different kinds of arms that you can equip.
Arms being the fists.
The gloves, not the arms themselves, but the fists. There's different types, and when I say that, I really mean there's different types. So you see Springman, who's the blue guy. He's kind of like this game's Ryu. He's got no real boost in fight outside of his desperation move, quote unquote. It's at critical health, he's always boosted. And what that means, we'll tell you later. But just there are all sorts of different fists that you can equip on these characters. 10 of which there are available right now. They have all different attributes. There's like 6 different elements in the game. Each one of those that adds a different kind of attack to your punch once it's charged up. It just allows for so many different crazy unique combinations, considering you are also allowed to equip 2 separate fists on either arm. So you're not limited to pairs. You can put any kind of hand on either hand, and it just works out for all sorts of crazy different combinations. Like I was saying, there's straight up fists. Like there are some fists that look like the classic boxing glove, and they'll have something basic. Like Springman has his toasters. They call them toasters. They're regular fists. They get a little bit bigger in size when they charge. But when they charge, they also, as their name says, toasters, they apply a heat fire damage. So it will knock your enemy over and will apply fire damage there. He has another arm that they look like boomerangs. I forgot what their name is. Snake, Kid Cobra has another set that's called the Coolerang, and they move similarly. It makes a wide arc. If you throw it to the left or right, super huge arc just comes around. So the enemy really needs to know what the hell's going on with that, and it really helps out when guys are dodging in that direction. So if you know a guy likes to dodge or dash constantly to your left, then throw out these to the left, and it'll hit them. It's much more effective than straight arms like Ribbon Girl's. Ribbon Girl is like the I don't know.
Chun-Li.
She kind of.
She's like the female mascot, I think.
Yeah, I get. If anybody on this one is that like she's also on the cover. She's got a second arm. It's a popper, like a party popper,
yeah.
And 3 little projectiles come out of it. This one's super straight. This one's meant for real quick counter punches. Because of the fact that the rounder ones take a little bit more time, you can get direct and throw something out in front like these poppers. 3 little weak, lightweight poppers will come out. If you try and use left or right with those, the movement is nowhere near as drastic, and they can still be avoided by your enemies. The single-player modes that it's got a Grand Prix mode, and that's the main single-player mode. It's quote-unquote the story because there is a bit of a boss and little bit of plot at the end of it. But for the most part, you are just going through one-on-one with all 10 of the other participants in the game. Or sorry, all 10 of the participants in the game. You're going to fight them all along with 2 surprise bosses at the end. There's 2 minigames interspersed in there. I kind of felt like it was modeling itself after the arcade mode from Street Fighter.
Or Classic and Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I completely forgot about those. But I was thinking more Street Fighter too, but well, it basically has 2 minigames thrown in there. Those minigames I was not too big a fan of. But anyway, you go through the whole Grand Prix, and once you have 7 difficulties you go through. I had so much trouble just going on 3. They're numbered 1 through 7. And I had so much trouble the first time going with 3. It's got a really, really steep It's a steep learning curve, but it's also not super tall.
Yeah. If you play around with it felt like you really could figure out what you're doing and where you need to improve.
There's a training mode, which is exactly as it entails. You just go in there, you try out different arms, you try out different characters. You're free as much time as you want to take, and you just keep on bashing and trying out different combinations with your arms. It's really amazing.
Yeah. Who did you have a favorite character?
My favorite character so far is Kid Cobra.
What is his like special stuff?
He's okay. So he plays like some kind of other extreme sport in this world with disc board or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Oh, the skate park. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his ring.
I could tell from the his clothes.
Yeah, he's all dressed up in a
90s extreme sports gear.
Yeah, I was gonna say safety gear, and that makes it sound super lame.
No,
like a chest guard, a helmet, arm pads, elbow pads, and such. He has these two, like my favorite combo so far is just two Slap-a-Manders. They don't cover for every situation, but doing the whole using the left and right for wide arcs, it has. People do not block anywhere near as much as they should be.
Yeah, I found myself like focusing on grabbing or dodging over blocking.
Right. Like and I think the curved weapons take a real huge advantage of that.
Well, yeah, because this one's a whip, right?
Basically, essentially, and like I said, they curve a lot, along with the fact that when they're charged up, and let me explain the charge up. I think I said it a bunch of times.
Yeah, a little bit.
If you dodge, if you jump, when you land. Or if you hold the dodge button after doing a dodge, your character will do a very, anime style, DBZ style charge up. And it'll take a moment. Your gloves will begin animating in a different way. And you'll see an aura kind of emanate around them. You got about the time of a punch or two to land the hit with the charge. And that'll add the extra elemental effect. There's ice, there's fire, there are explosions, there are electrical stuns, and there are cyclones. These are all indicated with a different little icon when you're selecting your arm. They allow for different properties to occur on your attacks. Cyclones will throw the enemy really far away. So almost like a throw, it'll put a lot of space between you and your enemy after the hit lands, if it does. Stuns are really great. This is the electrical one, because if that lands, your opponent's arms are both disabled, so they're at the mercy of their limited speed. They're really easy to grab, they can't block, they're pretty much vulnerable. Explosions will just knock them down like where they stand, but it's a guaranteed way to knock them down. As well as fire does a very similar effect. I don't think I've seen the real difference between an explosion and fire. Ice, though, is pretty awesome in that it'll freeze your characters, slowing them down dramatically. It's basically like a stun, except that there's still punching is still an option, as is blocking. So they still have some defense. It's just so crazy when you see your opponent with these different things and you find out for the first time, oh crap, okay, I need to avoid that for sure because I need to use my arms.
I remember thinking the stun seemed a little overpowered because not only does it stop you from using your arms, but you also can't move when you're stunned.
Right.
It seems a little overpowered, although I haven't seen it exploited to the point of being unfun.
Right. I'm thankful so far that I haven't seen it put on anything that's real quick, any of the really fast weapons. That's a good point. I think that seems to be the counter for most of the electrical weapons, is that they're going to end up being mid or heavyweight.
Yeah.
And that makes it, that to me so far has made it okay. I haven't seen, I had some trouble with a couple of mins online who like to use the double megawatt combo.
The big one, yeah.
Huge yellow landmine looking thing.
Yeah.
Slow, and when it comes at you and hits you with a charge, oh my goodness, it hurts. And then there's a rush attack. For every punch you throw out, it fills this meter.
Triangle.
Yeah, this little triangle. A lot of people can't tell that little Dorito chip is their rush meter. And as it fills, once it does, it'll be glowing yellow on fire, as a spicy Dorito would. You activate your rush attack, and the rush attacks aren't unique to the characters. Rather, they're unique to the gloves and the elements that they possess. it does a really, really huge, big version of the charge attack. Sometimes it results in a combo. Other times it results in a heavy hit, like the wind. The wind one will hit them once, will throw them around in the air, and then deal a lot of damage upon landing. It gets confusing a little bit to use the wind with something like the Tri-Blast had an explosive effect. So that one would just rapid fire out and explode on impact. It was kind of hard to use those both effectively because I found myself grabbing the enemy out of danger's way. So he'd get hit only by the wind one and avoid, because of the wind attack, all the stuff that they would have got hit by with the explosive Tri-Blast.
If you hit them with the explosion first and then the wind, maybe that would help.
That's what, yeah. I think what you're supposed to do is figure out the juggle timing,
okay.
and then throw.
So that requires more technical knowledge.
It can, and it's cool that it has that. If you're not all that great with that, then pick something faster. Like I said, the Tri-Blast, similar to Ribbon Girl's Party Popper again, the faster weapons, you can go ahead and mash on those and they'll come out as you predicted, like they'll come out. But then something like the Slap-O-Mander, Ribbon Girl also has a Slap-O-Mander of her own, but I forgot what it's called. Both of those, when they come out, they'll take their long arc, they'll hit you, and then like a billion hits will have. It looks like a Akuma's Demon Rage or 1,000 hit special when just you see a bunch of hits happen and the numbers just going higher and higher to indicate how much damage you just did. When you land one of those and then throw your second one, like I said, I like using 2 Slap-O-Manders. When you throw both of them out, it's just heaven in a little friggin' basket right there. Just
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I gotta say, like the characters for this game are freaking amazing.
Their aesthetics are great. They look really unique. They're incredibly varied.
Like Master Mummy is just giant hulking mummy monster who heals when you're blocking with him.
Yeah, so
like you see little spirits coming off of him and his health going up.
He's a big tanky guy, and he's given mechanics that support that. Like he said, shield, regen, don't move a whole lot.
And he has flinched armor, too.
Yeah, so it takes more than just one hit, sometimes even 2 hits on the really light weapons for him to even react. Otherwise, he just keeps walking, his punches just go through yours.
Yeah, I think my favorite character, in terms of her appearance, is Min Min.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically themed around a ramen bowl.
Yeah.
Her hat looks like a bowl upside down, and then her hair looks like ramen noodles. And then her arms themselves, like the springy part, is just ramen noodles stretching out.
A lot like the most of the characters that come from the different schools in Street Fighter. She's there to promote her family's ramen shop.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what she's there for. She's just trying to spread the word of it. So she's there to make her family proud and hopefully get them some popularity.
More business, yeah. With her, how did she activate her left arm?
You charge it in any other manner. But the special thing about her left arm is that it goes from being a ramen noodle arm to being a dragon arm. And because it's a dragon arm, it remains charged regardless until she gets hit.
Yeah.
Normally, once you throw your charged punches out, that's it. You have to charge again. Her left arm will stay charged, so it's something to keep in mind. And it's an important facet of her gameplay.
Yeah, that's really cool. But my favorite character to play as is probably Helix. I think he's one of the more popular ones on the internet.
Yeah.
Him and Ninjara.
The internet likes the way he looks.
He's just like this bag of green goo, or blue or red or yellow, depending on how you change his color. But
he's labeled as the man of mystery, and his origins are the reason why. He's an experiment of some sort, but nobody really knows how he came to be.
Yeah. He's got these weird goggles for a face, and his mouth is like a little pink circle.
It looks like one of the donuts from The Simpsons.
Yeah, almost. But his special ability is he's the only person I think that can, if you hold the jump button for any other character, they'll just jump. But him, because he's a gooey, like flubber looking thing, he'll stretch out in a direction that you're trying to walk. And then once you let go, then he'll actually bring the rest of his body along.
He rubber bands as opposed to just jumping.
So yeah, he's towering over the opponent. And in the meantime, he can throw a charged punch, which I didn't realize was unique to him until I tried to explain it to somebody else. And then his dash is amazing because instead of like just running in one direction, he melts to the floor, moves, and then comes back up.
It is really cool to see it when it really works. When you throw a punch and don't hit, and you're like, "What the? Oh, okay. Well, that was actually kind of badass."
Well, no, the few times we were playing, you were Twintel throwing a grab, and I just like dash forward under it and like bam, and that's the most satisfying feeling. Like I said, I thought this was gonna be like Wii Sports Boxing.
Definitely
a very shallow arcade game like Punch-Out or something.
Right,
this is definitely a fighting game, and hopefully it has the depth. I just hope the community stays on this game for long enough.
Right. They're planning on doing free updates.
Oh, yeah.
A new character is already announced within the month, I think.
By the end of
within
July.
a month. Okay,
Yeah.
by the end of July. Right now it's June. And end of June. But yeah, we already have another character on the way, and we have more maps, I think, are going to come out, along with, I know for sure, more characters after this.
Oh,
and
for sure.
So it's kind of awesome to already know that they're planning on supporting this. Nintendo wants this to be a big deal. And
It is so far for me.
yeah, like, it is really, really deceptively deep. You really don't know how deep it is until you play it. And I'm not trying to say, I don't want to oversell it. It is nowhere near the combo button mashing fest that Tekken might be, and you're not gonna be sitting there trying to practice the same combo over and over like you would in practice mode in a Street Fighter game. But there is a lot to be said about the different combinations of arms and the different ways that the different mobility that your character is given depending on the character that you choose.
Yeah,
The ring
like
itself is a massive variable in this. None of the rings are just plain. They all have some kind of odd gimmick. Just like the game itself, man. Just about everything in it. It feels so subtle, and then you get in there, you lose to some stupid little nuance, and you realize, holy crap, this game is going to have a lot of those little nuances. It's, like I said, a lot deeper than it appears to be.
Yeah, like there's a ninja school that's from Ninjaras. It basically takes place on the steps of this school. Mm-hmm. And when their items are dropping in, like bombs, they'll just roll down. So if you can try to maintain the high ground and then just start like pushing those items down to your opponent. And that'll usually, that usually ends well for you. Even
so, some fighters like Ribbon Girl, with her jumping, she works best at higher ground. So if you're her opponent, you want to fight that and put her at a disadvantage by getting her level at you or lower.
If she's jumping up into your level,
yeah,
okay.
Because then at best she's only evening out.
Yeah,
things like knowing how to use the trampolines on Springman's seemingly basic stage.
It's like a boxing ring with trampolines on the edge.
Yeah. Instead of ropes,
that's
it's got
like
a
the
bunch
closest
of trampolines.
to basic you're gonna get.
It is really, that is the simplest one in the entire set of them. And like those trampolines, it was upsetting when I first found out that you can juggle off of those. So,
oh no.
Yeah. Let's say knock somebody up onto them, right? They bounce. If you time it right on the bounce back, you can punch them right back onto it.
Oh.
Time it again right, you can just keep going and going if you want.
Yeah, that sounds
I don't know.
abusable.
I don't know if they're doing if they're going to be implementing any kind of
you can't get juggled after like 3 or 4
yeah
hits.
Exactly. It'd be kind of nice to make sure that there is a hard limit on that, but I don't know what it is or if they're going to be putting one in.
I think my favorite thing about the game so far is that as you're playing, you're earning money basically for the game, and then you have a chance to earn more arms. So eventually you can play any character you want with any arm you want. Like if you like the Slapamanders that H8BitHero mentioned, but you really like playing as Helix, like I might, then I can eventually earn those weapons for Helix, and then I'll have the whippy attacks with the dodging and the weird jumps. And oh man, this game is great, and it's like Splatoon, where it looks fun. You're not sure how much you're gonna get into it, but then it comes out and it exceeded my expectations at least.
Same here, and I think everybody who's playing it is getting real blown away. I'm not seeing a lot of people giving it really, really bad or negative rap yet.
Well, there was that one guy who he played for like 5 hours, 3 days in a row, and got bursitis.
Oh, right.
Yeah, don't overexert yourself.
Yeah, That's a good way to go into the controls.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that is one of the other big things about this game is the quote unquote the thumbs up grip, and it's called that because literally the way you grab the control is with your thumbs up, the sticks facing not into your palm, outward, still, and it's. You liked it a lot more.
I was using that a lot. I had tried it at the Nintendo Land event, and I tried the Test Punch when they had those. So I was a little more used to it. And I feel like I was putting up a pretty good fight with H8 here, who was using the regular controller.
Yeah. Grip. The standard slide the Joy-Cons.
It takes some getting used to, but if you played like Virtual On, you understand the movement is kind of like that with the joysticks. But then you do have a dedicated jump and dash button instead of, having to tilt the sticks like that. It's a lot of fun. It just takes some getting used to because it's pretty different from anything else we've seen so far.
Yeah, like I was saying, it is responsive and it's impressive how well when you know what when you're intending to do something and you just lean forward, lean back, whatever, those simple little controls and how well it responds right away. It feels so one-to-one-y and it just feels very accurate. Like I'm holding a bigger, joystick in my hand, which is great. But then there were other times where I kind of felt just a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, and that's just maybe me. I need to get used to it.
I prefer to play that way actually, compared to like the grips.
Yeah, I gave it maybe half hour, 45 minutes before I got a little too frustrated with constant losing, and then I tried the slide in. I'm hearing it called the dog ear control.
Oh well, because it looks like a dog.
Dog's ears.
People have been doing fan art of it where it looks like a puppy or something.
Nice. So I switched over to that and saw an immediate improvement, as in like I actually won a freaking match. It was, I guess, I mean, I always, every game I've ever played has always been, any action or fast-paced game has always been a hard control. It's never ever been motion controls. I don't know if I could play this game competitively and getting used to motion controls. It seems like it's something beyond me, but like you said.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see like when the pro scene eventually comes out for this game, like who's going to be using just the control or who's going to be using the punches.
Right.
That'll be fun to see.
Yeah. Considering there are some advantages that you can get through only motion control. Like you get crazy control of your punches. If you when you're using the sticks and you throw a punch out, you'll be using left and right to direct them only pretty much left and right. There's a little bit of upward, downward, but not anywhere near as much as if you throw out a punch with the thumbs up grip. You are really like driving that punch wherever you want it to go. You have a lot more opportunity to psych out the opponent and also throw your punch more where you intended it to be. There is a lot of times where I feel like we're playing with the sticks while it's doing exactly what I want it to, but the limitation is what the sticks can do.
Yeah.
It just, you get a little bit more flexibility with the thumbs up grip as far as how far your arms can move. And also that grabbing, that very distinct advantage with grabbing where you can really widen the arms.
Oh, yeah. If you throw a punch when you're using the thumbs up control, basically when you throw a punch and you twist your wrist, if you twist it inward, the punch will curve inward. If you twist outward, it'll curve outward. So if you throw both of them at the same time and then twist both wrists outward, it can widen the basically the net for grabs. So if your opponent keeps dodging, you could probably follow them with that, and it casts a wide net for you to really pull them in for a good hit.
Yeah, I found it odd that we have two sticks, but I felt that, it just would have made sense to assign the left stick to left punch, right stick to right punch.
The problem there is that if you're pushing A and B with the right thumb,
right,
then you'd have to jump up to the stick, or is it down?
Right. But
down.
Then, I mean, even as it is now, the problem is that you're controlling both the body of the player and the punches, which I think is one of those other things that the thumbs up grip affords you.
You can't really move when you're doing that, especially because your mobility is reduced anyway when you're throwing a punch.
It's reduced, but it's not It's not dead.
I will have to test. I have to play around with that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure
Check it out. When you throw a punch, if you only throw one out, your mobility gets reduced only so much. Throw them both out, and it's not dead, but you can still move a little bit. You still get a couple of like inches. I'm gonna say maybe an inch or two of movement, and that has saved me from a couple of throws sometimes. It's and even more so, it has saved the opponent, which is why I like. What are the limitations to how you move and when you throw punches? And you are never really completely immobile, except for I think when you're throwing.
Yeah,
I think that's the only time where
you just can't move at all.
Yeah,
I would really like to see. I don't know. Is this a feature where you can see what your opponent is using as far as a control scheme?
No, not that I know.
I think that would be pretty cool, considering the Switch knows what color your Joy-Cons are. Like when you click it into the center screen, I feel like that's something they could keep track of too.
Yeah, really easily.
Yeah, and then that would kind of let you know like what you're up against. Although maybe that's information that people want to keep to themselves,
right?
As far as competitively.
So like we were saying earlier, those rings, everybody's got their own.
The arenas, yeah.
They got their own little hazards, like we said.
Yeah, like Twin Tails is Hollywood, and there's limos everywhere.
Which also act as trampolines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So again, when your character is advantageous at taller heights, you get that option there. The limos, they can be used as, like you said, obstacles for defense. Get behind them. Oh my God, I'm at low health. Let's wait for this guy to throw a couple. All right, now he's open. That match or that ring annoys me a lot.
We were fighting a lot in that one.
Considering how much they get in the way because they're on the floor, they're just there.
Yeah.
The one that was really weird to me, I think it's Bark and Bites. Yeah, it's Bark and Bites because it's shaped like a bone.
Is it the one that's got like the weird mini raised platform in the middle?
Yeah, it's just a rectangle in the middle.
It looks like a water park almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
It looks like a resort.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
I don't understand. What is the gimmick on that one?
The gimmick, quote unquote, is just the
shape,
the raised ground.
Oh, okay.
And how that like kind of gets in the way.
It does, and it doesn't seem like a fun gimmick at all.
It's what I'm amazed by is the fact that it is literally just a stretch of floor, probably about like what 4 feet by 10 feet long, and it's only raised about a foot off the floor.
If that, like 3 inches, it seems like.
It's barely off the floor.
Yeah.
And it gets in the way so effing much in these matches. It's just floor.
Especially if you're trying to dash, like your character won't just jump up it. I don't think.
Nope, they don't automatically step up on it or anything. Yeah, it gets in the way. Yeah. It's just in the way. It can easily be jumped onto, but it just is in the way. The tips even of the bone are slanted down, which starts making things a little bit hard to deal with when you're on that tilted ground. And yeah, it's just, these are incredibly simple little features of the floor that
add this entire, like another thing you have to think about the whole time.
It's crazy how every little variable, no matter how insignificant it might seem at any point in the game, determines how things turn out on a punch-to-punch basis.
Yeah.
It's
a great game, though.
Yeah. It's, the GUIs, so I wrote a lot of this part up before seeing the party mode. And the party mode stuff.
That's great.
The party mode stuff is cool to watch. Party mode is an online unranked mode of play with a bunch of different mini-game modes thrown in along with regular games. But the cool thing about finding the game is the fact that while in the lobby, your little icon of your character is floating around this screen and you start seeing other little character icons float on. Kind of like the way the Mario Kart Miis, when they jump into the world, signifying that they're in your room.
Oh, okay.
That's what these characters, their little circular icons just come in from out of screen into screen. And then when the game starts creating, matches to fill, big circles with describing the match and the match type, and filled with the illustration of the match of the arena they're playing on. That thing will be there, and then depending on who's going to match up in there, you'll physically see their icons get thrown into the circle of the ring there,
Don't they
you'll
start, like,
see
throwing
them.
punches too?
Yes, not throwing punches.
So,
You'll
like,
see them
attacking.
taking damage.
Yeah.
You'll see them fighting, actually going at it. And then when they do lose or win, you get to watch their little icons like do their thing while you're waiting to get paired up in your own game.
And you can see the time on the around the edge of the circle too.
It's almost the. I mean, it's without spectating, you're spectating.
Yeah,
And it's a
nice
really
way to know
cool
how
little lobby.
It's a nice way to know how soon you're gonna have to wait to play against one of these people.
Not only that, it's funny to just watch the circles interact. Like, oh, that's my friend there, though. Like the one getting smacked around, that's my buddy. and now, okay, cool. Now they're waiting, and now they're watching me. Like, it's really cool to see all that, to be able to keep track of all that stuff right there. That's like the best part of the menus as far as menus go, GUIs go. The rest of the presentation in the game is fairly minimal, mostly function over anything else. You start it up and it's just pretty much a blank yellow screen, a very bright, like warning yellow screen along with the ARMS theme music. I mean, there's nothing really exciting or anything to write home about there. It's just a standard.
It gets you into the game.
Anytime that you're given something, like anytime that you're given an option, it's just here they are and that's it. You know, it's very get to the point-ish. One thing I wasn't all for was their help section, the tutorials.
Oh no.
They're barely tutorials. Like this is a full-on Nintendo full price release. There were a couple of people who had an issue with that. They feel like, you know, maybe it's a little bit too bare for the price. I don't know. I felt it was fine. I was upset with the tutorials because they're just like it's just like a slide, a PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
I mean, it is a fighting game. Maybe they are expecting for the community to kind of like go out and look for that information, you know, to kind of feed their enthusiasm for the game.
Right. That could be one of the things, but I don't know. I just felt
more hands-on tutorials would be better.
It just looked so much like, it reminded me of the Xbox 360 arcade games and how they had their
electronic manuals.
Yeah, like they were mandated, and they had like a template that they would use to do them.
It was very sterile.
It very much reminded me of that. It was lacking in style, and considering you know you have Biff right there as your announcer character,
have nearly as much presence as he should. Huh?
He could easily be announcing any of that stuff. I would like just a video clip, or just a very quick cutscene of these moves being effectively used. Not just. I'm not expecting. I'm disappointed that that's all that was given for a game that I'm really wanting to take off, and like you would think that they'd be more helpful, literally.
Yeah.
In these, like,
I think this is also a good way to, like, the people that look for this information are going to be the ones that get to the top of the ranks, you know.
Yeah.
The what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
That is very much what the kind of game this seems like. Splatoon, it echoes that.
Yeah, but at least Splatoon had that whole campaign to show you all the mechanics and weapons and stuff. You had this was your playground to try it in. Not
as good as example as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, they do have the training modes, and then when you're buying stuff, it's kind of like teaching you, like, you want to hit this stuff, and intuitively you might curve your wrist. Oh, you mean
the mini game using for the things? Yeah, the mini games do a pretty good job of making you use the different kinds of angles in a safe environment too, where you don't have to worry about getting attacked or anything like that.
Yeah, like when Windows first made the computers, like with solitaire on them, they included solitaire because that was how people would learn to drag and click.
Oh, okay.
And it taught them that without really like thinking about it. Minesweeper did something similar where the game taught you that right clicking and left clicking do different things. So basically,
okay.
Yeah, the training in this case is I think meant to like kind of push you in the direction of learning the different mechanics a little bit. I would like to see an elemental thing, an elemental mini game or something introduced, so you kind of get used to seeing what they do
to teach you how to more effectively use those.
Yeah, kind of like how Borderlands did when you're learning about the elements, and they would bring out like the robot. Here's acid damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So far the game has been a lot of fun. I've picked up stuff like with Helix, just from playing against you, and a few other friends. I think the game is intuitive enough for anybody to kind of like try it out and enjoy it. As far as getting good at it, though, that I think would require some actual practice.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those like I said about the steep but short learning curve, it'll take minutes to pick up, but it can take a while to master. Like,
yeah.
Oh, wow. Or like almost any puzzle game or anything like that.
Yeah.
The audio in this game, so sound effects themselves, awesome. Punches sound really nice when they land. Things that sound like whips, windy sounds that, like, tear through the wind. All that stuff is great. Voices, I got really, really excited that nobody converses.
They don't overstay their welcome.
Nobody talks. These guys don't interact with each other in a dialogue fashion.
I would like to actually see something like that. Like in Overwatch, before the match starts, characters will interact if they have a special relationship with each other.
Right.
So I'd like to see like, who's it? Kid Cobra versus maybe Springman, or Helix with Twintel, who is his his childhood crush.
I don't know. I would rather just never see anything like that happen with these guys. Story development will be fine. I don't want to ever have to sit through it or anything. Their quick lines that they say are nice, cute, and like you said, I think the keyword overstayed. They are not overstayed.
Yeah. It's a fighting game. I guess you don't see a lot of that in other fighting games.
Not a whole lot. There
Injustice kind of does
that. Yeah, there are some where story ends up you're sitting through more story than you are fights if you're good enough.
I mean, you could skip through that stuff if. I think you can skip through the Injustice intros if you want to.
I'm not saying that's bad.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you get tired of it.
Don't get so defensive, bro. But
anyway,
the one thing I mixed on now, I mean, I played it more and it didn't bug me anywhere near as much as I thought it was going to. The music. That theme that you've heard in the trailers for ARMS, you're going to hear that throughout the whole game. Almost every track has that oh, or a variation thereof with some other instrument. But every ring has a version of that song, and it's like, I like the tracks themselves. Each individually sound perfect, sound great, but then you're playing them one after another, after another, after another. This is the type of game, kind of get online and you will just lose like 2 hours of your time and not even realize it. That music can get a little bit, it starts to get great. You start to notice it.
Yeah.
And it gets, if you're even noticing it at all, I think that's kind of a bad thing to begin with,
Lately, Nintendo's been more like, you've been playing for too long, why don't you take a break? And I think maybe this is their way of like...
Subliminal?
You get tired of the music, maybe you've had enough for the day.
All right, let's turn music down and put on my favorite music.
Or you could do
Time for a marathon.
Working for the weekend or something.
Can't wait to get elbowitis. What was the thing he had?
Bursitis.
Burstitis. That sounds like a special move.
You unlocked my bursitis.
You'll regret that.
So this game, you would recommend it to people?
I don't only recommend it. I feel like it should be almost like a standard with the Switch. Like,
okay.
I feel like, almost it alongside Mario Kart. Almost like that. If you knew somebody who had a Wii U, you almost expected them to have a game like that, as long as you knew these people not to be a JRPG type.
Yeah, you buy like 2 games a year and you're set.
Yeah. Like, I feel like this game can be right up there with Mario Kart and be played by everybody in fun times. There's party modes. There's all sorts of things to make it accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it. You buy it. If you get into it, you have so much to replay and go through. There's so many arms to go back and earn. There's so many different combinations of the arms to try. The few characters that they have now are not going to be the final roster, and even they offer so much different variation, combination, permutation, every word of those. That's basically the heart of this game, is those various combinations of
finding what you like.
Yeah.
As far as fighting and arms.
Loadouts.
I am curious though. Each character starts with 3 unique arms. And so you can get 30 for all the characters, which is basically everyone's collective arms. They're adding a new character. Do you think they're going to add 3 new arms for him?
You know what? That's a really good question. Even on the last bosses, There were no new unique arms. They were still ones that we seen before. I could see it go either way. I would have expected, with that context in mind, I would now have expected them to be unique.
Maybe they'll add them and they didn't want to give it away.
Maybe, but I don't really have an expectation either way. I could see it going reasonably either way.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't tried it, I think some GameStops have demos now, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Get your hands on this any way you can to try it. Although if you aren't very good at it or if it's weird, don't let that discourage you. It is something you got to get used to, or use the control sticks.
The controls are not going to be something that should be getting in your way.
Yeah.
There should be a control style that's for you. The game itself, it's like, if you're not having fun with this, you probably don't like games in general.
Or fighting games specifically.
I would go so far as to say games.
All right. Well, I mean, 8 out of 5? I mean, 8.5?
I mean, I don't like numbers, but probably about it. It's not an epic, so I can't give it a 9. I feel like
I think 8.5 is a
that's a pretty damn good score.
Yeah, if you go by review scores in the traditional sense, then that's ours.
Yeah, that game is damn good. Go get it.
All right, so this week's kind of light on releases.
Kinda.
Yeah, there's only like 4 things worth mentioning, I think.
Just me or is the industry on a diet, huh?
Well, after E3, you got to binge and then purge a little bit.
Oh, hey, you know what? That makes sense.
That's not a bad analogy. Anyway, Friday, June 29th. Is that Friday? No, it's Thursday. I'm sorry. Thursday, June 29th, Elder Scrolls Legends, their card game, the collectible card game online, they're going to release an expansion called Heroes of Skyrim, which will bring in a lot of notable characters from Skyrim into the card game.
Would you say they're heroes?
Probably. I wouldn't, but Bethesda would, so that's the important thing. Another game that's coming out, we mentioned this a few weeks ago. It actually ended up not coming out. They said it was something about a hiccup with Unity. They didn't really get too much more specific than that, but Goner is coming to the Switch. So if you looked at the trailer, you thought it looked cool, maybe check that out.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm actually probably going to buy that. Unless we can get a review copy.
Oh, yeah. We're talking to them right now about that.
Yeah. June 30th, Friday, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. That's the first, second, and third Crash Bandicoot games remastered. They look amazing.
They look not just...
it's faithful, amazing. But at the same time, it's like, it seems like they built it from the ground up.
It's so weird how it's like, it looks the same, but also it looks effing amazing. Yeah.
And that's coming to PS4. And the last thing worth mentioning, I think, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC, the first one, that's coming on Friday to the Switch and to the Wii U. That's going to have the hard mode, the trials, the super map, or what was it called?
Crap, I forgot what it was called. But where
it's a map that tracks
the 200 hours?
Yeah, where you've been for the last 200 hours. So yeah, that's all coming out. Pretty exciting. I mean, it's not a lot, but what's there is definitely, worth looking at.
Yeah, pretty substantial.
Now, thanks to H8BitHero and his massive review for ARMS.
Yeah, my huge, long arms.
Review. We don't have time to really get into the meat of the episode as far as our opinion piece. We've been talking about doing this one for a while. Next week we're going to talk about series fatigue, not just from like Call of Duty, which some of you might have expected, but also like Pokemon and even Far Cry's getting up there. Ubisoft in general.
You better hide Final Fantasy.
Oh, Final Fantasy, to an extent, has also been guilty. We're going to talk about that and how some of the series are changing to avoid people getting tired of the same old crap. That's going to do it for us this week. If you like what you hear, if you hate what you hear, let us know. Tell us what you guys are thinking. And if there's a story that you guys want to hear us talk about, like if you're interested in it, you want to hear what our opinions of it are, let us know. Email us at gamegopodcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on gamegopodcast.com. And we're on Twitter at GameGo11. Those are probably the easiest ways to find us. We're also on Facebook at GameGo. So yeah, if you like what we say, you don't, you want to hear something specific, let us know. Leave us a like or two. Tell your friends about this. This is the easiest way to get the word out is through you guys. So if you enjoy what you're listening to, you want to hear more of it, we can put more time into it. The more people are listening. So yeah, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much for listening. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, this is actually the 10th episode. I didn't know when we started this, 2 months and a half ago, that we would still be going at this. Yeah,
like any other project we try and start.
Yeah. So we really appreciate the people that have listened so far, that are giving their opinions, their likes, their just anything that you guys do for us. It really helps us stay in the game knowing that people are responding to it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so this has been GameGo, a podcast where we talk about video games and whatever else we want. I'm your host, Sonorith, and with me, as always, is H8BitHero. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.